Hi, seventh grade. How are you? Happy Thursday. We're almost through another week. Isn't that awesome? But at the same time, it's still so hard to believe. I hope that all of you had a chance to go up to the school Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and that you were able to get your either your PE locker cleaned out or your actual locker or even both. Anyway, here is social studies for today. So on Tuesday, we talked about how Andrew Jackson had a lot of disagreements with people. And one of the groups that he had a disagreement with was Native Americans. And he did the Trail of Tears when he removed a lot of Native American tribes from their homes, and he sent them to other places to live. Why did he do that? There were a lot of different reasons. One of the reasons why he did that was because he didn't think they were civilized, and he didn't necessarily think they deserved that land. Another reason is because he wanted the land for the American people. We have already read about the Louisiana Purchase and Lewis and Clark and Sacagawea. We're going to touch a base on it again quickly in the reading today, but people wanted to move west. So the government decided that Native Americans no longer had the right to own their land, made them move away from their home and their culture, and took them someplace they had never even been before. If you remember, a lot of the Native American tribes, their culture was a large part of their culture was based on their geographical location. They used the natural resources that they had. So by taking them away from those natural resources that they have depended upon their whole entire life, it did change their culture. Anyway, today moving on to westward expansion. There are a lot of key terms and people. This gray box is where most of the answers for your Google form is going to be. I have also included this in Google Classroom so that you don't need to keep pausing the video to look at the answers. After you listen to me do the reading, you can also go find the reading, look at it yourself. Definitely take a look at this gray box before you do the Google form or while you're doing the Google form. So, the first Westerners. In 1775, Daniel Boone led a group that cut a road west through the Cumberland Gap in Kentucky. Thousands of Americans moved to the area between the Appalachians and the Mississippi River. The settlers used the Mississippi and Ohio rivers to move products east. New Orleans was an essential port for river trade. Spain governed New Orleans. Louisiana and Western explorers. In 1802, Spain shut American shipping out of New Orleans. Then they traded Louisiana to France. President Thomas Jefferson sent ambassadors to France. When the ambassadors tried to buy New Orleans, France offered to sell the entire territory of Louisiana. The United States bought the Western Territory for $15 million in the Louisiana Purchase. President Jefferson wanted to learn more about the West and the Native Americans who lived there. He also wondered if there was a river route to the Pacific Ocean. In 1803, Congress provided money to explore the West. Meriwether Lewis and William Clark were chosen to lead the Lewis and Clark expedition, which began in May 1804. Lewis and Clark and their crew traveled up the Missouri River. They saw Native Americans, and Lewis used interpreters to tell their leaders that the United States now owned the land on which they lived. Sacagawea and her husband aided Lewis and Clark. Lewis and Clark did not find a river route to the Pacific, but they learned much about Western lands. In 1806, Zebulon Pike was sent to locate the Red River. The Red River was the Louisiana Territory's border with New Spain. In present-day Colorado, he reached the summit of Pike's Peak. Pike gave many Americans their first information about the Southwest. Another explorer, John C. Fremont, led an expedition to the Rocky Mountains in 1842. He wrote a report of his journey that became a guide for future travelers. The information he gave made many more settlers eager to move west. Mountain men go west. In the early 1800s, trappers and traders, known as mountain men, worked to supply the Eastern fashion for fur hats and clothing. John Jacob Astor, owner of the American Fur Company, sent mountain men to the Pacific Northwest region that became known as Oregon country. Trails west. Many Americans began to move to Oregon country. Most of them followed a route that became known as the Oregon Trail. It was common for families to band together and undertake the perilous 6-month journey in wagon trains. Mainly traders used other well-traveled route west, the Santa Fe Trail. They loaded wagon trains with cloth and other manufactured goods. They traded the goods for horses, mules, and silver in the Mexican settlement of Santa Fe. One large group of settlers traveled to the west in search of religious freedom. They were known as Mormons, members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Thousands of Mormons took the Mormon Trail. They traveled to an area near the Great Salt Lake in what is now Utah. Brigham Young, their leader, chose that site. By 1860, there were about 40,000 Mormons living in Utah. Okay, that is it for the reading. Again, make sure you check out the reading that I have posted. Look at this gray box. Go answer the Google form questions, and you are done with social studies for the week. Super simple, right? Okay, I will be back on Friday with a review, but have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you then. Bye.